Good morning. We will come to order, and thank you all for being here, the ones that have come to present and the ones that have come just to observe. We appreciate you all being here, and we will start the meeting with Magistrate Cullen giving our invocation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Most kind, gracious Heavenly Father, we are grateful to be gathered here today. We're grateful to be able to do the work for this county, and we ask that you will put a special blessing upon us, that we will think of thee as we move through the meeting and do things in the best interest of those in the county. We ask that you will put a special blessing on Magistrate Harmon and his family as he is recovering from an illness. We're saddened that he's not here with us, but please look after him and look after our law enforcement, first responders, and those serving the military. And we say these things in the name of my son Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you including Magistrate Harmon. You all will stand. We will have our Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. If you have a cell phone, I would ask that you put it on silent or turn it off, whichever you prefer. I know you still have to get messages even while you're in a meeting, so having it on silent is perfectly fine. We will approve our prior minutes, and we have two sets. We have January the 30th, which had a little bit of tweaking done to it, and then we also have February the 14th. So I'll entertain a motion.
Make motion we approve.
Second. Okay. Motion made by Magistrate Cullen to approve, second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion on the minutes?
Judge, just one thing. In the future, it would really be helpful if we have changes to put the numbers on the pages. We've done that in the past.
Okay, we can start numbering.
I love the extensive work. Tina, it's hard work, and since we have multiple pages, that would be easier.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, and that doesn't change anything to the content of the minutes. Okay. So all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries, and minutes are approved. Thank you, Fiscal Court Clerk. Continue. All right. We will approve the bills. And I want to introduce Elaina Plyman. She is our new finance officer. She comes from the detention center, and we are glad to have her, and she's doing a fantastic job. She's been here 1 week. So, yeah. So, this is Miss Elaina. All right. Hi, Brian. Our jailer's giving me the stink eye.
So the total amount of bills that we need to pay this time is going to be $322,078.55.
Move we pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Gay, seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion on the bills? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now we have the budget transfers.
Budget transfers were from 5 funds this week. I have $11,200 in general fund, $11,300 in public works, $10,000 in joint jail fund, $50,000 in LGA fund, and $5,000 in EMS fund, totaling $87,500.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen to approve the budget transfer, seconded by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion?
And just to clarify, it was LGEA funds.
Yeah, did I miss it?
You missed the E.
Sorry.
Then I think we had another budget out there.
The brain works too fast.
It's early.
Except for the eyesight.
Okay. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now our cash transfers.
I only have one this week going from general fund to joint jail, $100,000.
Motion to approve the cash transfers.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay, motion made by Magistrate Gay to accept the cash transfer, seconded by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you. Okay, our first item of business is Women's History Month Proclamation, and I would like to read the proclamation, and then I'd like to recognize 3 women, 2 that are here with us, and 1 that is going to represent one of the women that we're talking about. So, Proclamation for Women's History Month 2023. Whereas the month of March has been designated as Women's History Month, and whereas Women's History Month is a dedicated month to reflect on the often overlooked contributions of women to United States history, and whereas the 2023 theme is Celebrating Women Who Tell Our Stories. And whereas this theme recognizes women, past and present, who have been active in all forms of media and storytelling, including print, radio, TV, stage, screen, news, and social media. And whereas the theme honors women in every community who have devoted their lives and talents to producing art, pursuing truth, and reflecting the human condition decade after decade. Now therefore, I, Judge Executive Trilly L. Bottom, and the Boyle County Fiscal Court hereby proclaim the month of March as Women's History Month on this 28th day of February, and urge all citizens to join in recognizing the important contributions that women have made not only in Boyle County, but in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the United States, dated this 28th day of February. The first person that I would like to recognize is Carolyn Crabtree. And Carolyn could not be here today, and that's understandable. Her husband is sick, and she's just a little afraid to get out and mingle, so we understand that. But Carolyn is a longtime genealogy historian, and she has researched countless family trees and helped families to tell their stories. We have had many long talks in the county clerk's office when she would be there doing research, and she would come up and she would say, "Hey, have you ever heard of this or that?" And I'd say, "No." "Well, let me tell you." And for the next however long it took, she would tell me the history of a family here in Boyle County and make a connection, with somebody else in the county. And it was just something that I really enjoyed, being able to talk with her and her tell me these stories. She also serves as the treasurer of the Boyle County Genealogical and Historical Society, and she is also an admin on the Facebook page. So if you have not seen their Facebook page, it is awesome. Mary Ashby gets on there, and I believe you're an admin as well. Yep. And so if you haven't checked it out, check it out, because it's an awesome, awesome page. So Carolyn is being celebrated for her dedicated service in researching and documenting our stories through the written word and through the art of storytelling. The next person that I would like to recognize is Karen Lowe. And Karen, if you'll stand. Thank you. Karen is the managing director of West T Hill Community Theater. She has served our community in many ways, but one area of dedicated service has been portraying stories through the theater and working with young actors and actresses to reach their full potential. And Karen, we thank you and we appreciate the work that you do at West T Hill. Thank you. And I would like to give you a certificate. And Karen is being celebrated for her dedicated service in portraying our stories through theater and performing arts. If you will come up and we'll get a photo, and I'm going to give you a copy of the proclamation as well. Miss Julie here will take our picture.
Can I be here with the glares?
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Okay, and the last but not least, certainly not least person that I would like to recognize is Annabelle Gerard. Annabelle spent most of her working career from 1979 to 2006 at the Advocate Messenger newspaper here in our town, where she covered the local government and penned her column Around Town. I would like to think she was the woman around town, because she was everywhere that any activities were taking place, any news was being made. Annabelle was there to record it and report it, and she done that just in an awesome, awesome way. And we sincerely miss Annabelle. She is being recognized posthumously for her loyal and dedicated service to reporting the stories of Boyle County. And Mary, I would like for you to come as her daughter and accept her certificate. If you would like to say anything on
You know, well, I'll say 2 words because I know y'all got a huge agenda.
Yeah.
My mother loved her job and she loved politics, and you can thank the gods that she didn't print everything she saw. So again, thank you so much.
You know, I got to know your mom. She used to come in the hub with there was a group of people, and mostly gentlemen, and she kept those guys in line when she'd show up. In fact, I'd always pray, like, please let her come up today, because they were getting into the weeds on stuff. And she would not only keep them in line, but set them straight. So,
Let me, if I could, tell a quick Annabelle story too.
I knew this one.
Is my first time serving in elected office. I was on the city commission, and it was our very first meeting, and I was newly elected with Coach Tom Bryant from Center. And Tom was used to talking to the sports writers and kind of feeding them his quotes and comments. And so he said, Annabelle, write this down, write this down. And I can still hear her pen hitting the table. And she said, I don't tell you what to say, you don't tell me what to write. And so I forever have remembered that.
And that's
comment.
true Annabelle fashion.
Well, thank you all for sharing. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. You all are welcome to stay, or you can.
Yeah, no.
Wherever you
She read
wish.
the agenda.
All right, Chamber of Commerce, Jeff Jewell, if you'll come on in the room and make your presence known. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good morning.
I noticed we got this on the agenda, so I'll start out with the fact that we've got a frontline hospitality worker training. It's going to be taking place on Monday, March 27th at the UK Extension Office. We're going to have a 12 noon session, a 4 p.m. session, and we will feed everybody that comes to that.
Yay.
So it's great for anyone that interacts frontline with the public, hotel desk clerks, people in the water department, anything.
Yeah.
So we're doing that in conjunction with Workforce Development Committee of DBCDC and the CVB. And we've also got a job fair coming up the Friday before that, March 24th, from 10 to 2 at the showroom. WHIR will be broadcasting live, and we'll have free burgers. And
Yay.
we've got, I think, already at least 12 to 14 employers signed up for that. So,
Awesome.
And it's second day out there, so
Yeah,
that's good. And then also, before I introduce Jennifer Broadwater, who is our new CVB appointment, I want to invite everyone personally to the meet and greet tonight, 4:30 to 6. We'll be introducing JJ Harris, the new DBCDC CEO, President CEO. That's a lot of letters. So 4:30 to 6, we're going to have hors d'oeuvres from Southern Plate, and also Katie Montgomery, the macaron lady, is donating cookies, so everyone needs shelter.
Wow.
So Jennifer, are you ready?
And they are awesome.
Okay. That's all I need. So, as everyone knows, the Chamber has an appointment to the CVB board,
Yes.
which is agreed to by the city and the county. We submit 3 names, and Jennifer was the one chosen. If you don't know Jennifer Broadwater, she is the Marketing and Development Director for the Norton Center for Performing Arts, where I saw Cats last night, which was incredible. So Jennifer, did you want to say?
Oh, I just wanted to say hello. My name's Jennifer Broadwater. Like Jeff said, I'm the Director of Marketing at the Norton Center for the Arts. Prior to that, I was the Vice President of Marketing and Visitor Engagement at Shaker Village for about 11 years. So I have some great tourism experience and marketing experience, and I look forward to serving.
You have a great employee over there, Addie.
Oh, yes.
She's fantastic.
First rate.
I'm glad you guys hired her. Yeah, no,
She's
you guys.
doing great.
Yeah, wonderful. Jeff, farmers market update. When we're looking at.
Probably looking at the first Saturday, or the last Saturday in April as being a start date. We do let the farmers vote on that, so
Yeah.
we'll officially make that during the meeting, but I'm anticipating that meeting.
I'm sorry. I guess do we need to vote on that?
Yes, we
I'm
do.
sorry. I got into the weeds. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right, yes, because she is an appointment, a joint appointment with city and county. I'll need a motion to approve her appointment.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and a second. All right. Motion made by Magistrate Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion on the appointment? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
All right, so you got farmers market, and then hospitality training, extremely important. We've heard about this when we're talking economic development. This is one of the biggest things that we can do for our community, making sure that those that are I used to tell people at the coffee shop all the time, like, make sure you have a good interaction, because they're usually the front line of people like, hey, how do you like the town? And if they say, oh, it's terrible, that's going to instantly hurt anything we're trying to do with economic development and just, the pulse of the county in general, the city in general, and community in general. So
that's exactly right.
yeah, so I'm hoping to get to that training just to kind of see, but that's something we've got to really promote to make sure everybody gets on it.
Yeah, we do have a professional trainer coming in. CVB got a grant to pay for that.
Yeah.
So we have a professional trainer coming in for about 2 hours, and then we'll have people coming from a lot of our historic sites like the Parable Battlefield and all to talk about what they have to offer. So it'll be a nice little insight into what the community has to offer. Hopefully we'll get a lot of people there. I know the city's even sending quite a few employees and stuff. So
I think you probably got several signed up already.
we do. Yeah.
Always glad to hear Perryville mentioned in our meeting.
Oh yeah. I think we got Brian on first. So yeah.
All right, good deal.
Training.
What's that? That is Monday, March 27th. We've got a 12 noon training and a 4 p.m. training. Each one lasts about 3 hours.
And that's at the Extension District, right?
Extension office, yeah. Anything else? Sure.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, next we have our new DBCDC Director, JJ Harris, new to town. Welcome.
Our team with us.
Yeah, that's great. Bring everybody in.
Entourage.
Carroll and then Josh. So just want to say hello and thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to working with you all. There's a lot of good things happening. This week I just dropped off a letter to Julie. You've probably already seen it. The KPDI grant of $750,000 was awarded for the new road start. So forward progress starting off. So
Hopefully an opportunity for more of that money too, right?
Absolutely.
That's called jumping in with both feet, right?
Yeah, but I can't take the credit for that. So all the predecessors and those who were there. So, and obviously, the city and the county coming together for the EDA and all the staff behind it. So, economic development's a team. It's a team of everybody working together with a forward vision and the investment that it takes. It's long-term. Economic development's long-term. It doesn't happen overnight. You start with a plan, you begin with an end, and you work toward it. So that's our goal. That's our opportunity. We're going to refine our strategic plan. We've got a good board, a lot of support from every direction, and we're going to rise to the occasion. So.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Judge, if I might comment, I was thrilled yesterday to go to Intercounty and meet JJ for the first time. And we spent about 15 minutes together. There's another one tonight.
I wanted to point out that if you all want to go and have an extended conversation with JJ, today from 4:30 to 6 at Intercounty Energy, he's having a meet and greet. So,
It was particularly favorable to hear that he's already been all over the county. He knows my back roads, and he was raised in a huge town of
70.
He understands us.
Yes.
So every corner of the county matters. Your workforce lives out in the county. It comes here to work and then goes home at night. What we have to do as an economic development entity is capture that fund, whether it comes from out of county, out of state, keep it here and circulating here to support our small business, our small communities, build the roads, water, and infrastructure that we need. Whether it's broadband, water, sewer, roads, everybody likes good roads, wide roads, they can pass a tractor on. So,
that's right.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Do any of the other members want to have anything to say?
I'm just glad we have him. So.
If Josh can actually breathe and take a day off.
Yeah, him and Harold now.
Thank you, Harold.
Thank y'all.
Y'all have a good day. All right, Planning and Zoning Director, Mikaela. Gerry. I knew I was going to say it right. Gerry.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm just here to give a quick update on the comprehensive plan. We have met with several firms at this point, received proposals, went through the interview process, and it seems like everyone's on the same page that we want to proceed with the Bluegrass End. They had the best price. They did a really great presentation, basically looking at a 7-month process with a dedicated staff person. They'll be able to do mapping and the entire comprehensive plan in-house. So that's how we're looking to proceed. The city spoke about it at their city commission meeting last night. They seem to be on the same page. I'm going to go speak with Parable and Junction as well. But for funding purposes, we are just looking for funding from the city and the county. The total price is $48,725. And I can hand out a draft agreement here in just a minute, so everyone can review it and take a look at scope of services and everything like that, and let me know if you have any comments or questions on it, but.
And then we can come back together and decide at a later date.
Yep,
Okay.
if that works for
Is
you all.
that good with you all?
And
No,
I don't-
that's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what motion you all are gonna need to sign it. I think Julie can probably help you all with that, but whatever you need to move forward, and I'm here to answer any questions, so.
No, that's great.
We'll give them an opportunity to look at it
Yep.
and study it, and then we can put you back on the agenda to come back.
Sounds great.
For a final decision.
I'll just.
What is
quickly hand
the
out some-
time,
Yeah, when do you need this?
what is the timing of this? Yeah.
We don't really have a specific start time. I think the ad will go with when we're ready. We had kind of floated April, I think, was, a hopeful start date. We would love to get this thing rolling, but I just I want everyone to feel comfortable, be on the same page, and
Yeah.
so, take your time to review it.
And is this price you mentioned, is that for each entity or is that total?
That would be the total cost. I did not do the math, but about half of that, I think about
Okay.
24,000
Right,
would be the
change,
cost.
yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Are we, so that's primarily going to be split between the city and the county, city of Danville and the county? We're
City
not-
of Danville and the county.
Have
Yep.
we not asked our partners out in Perryville or Junction? Because the uniqueness of this one is this is county-wide.
It is, yes.
Where the one, I think that was another one that was floated out there was just mainly for the city.
We talked about that at that meeting,
Yeah.
that last one we had, and we were going to just include Junction and.
As we should,
Yeah.
they're part of the county and they pay taxes.
Yeah.
But I think we're not asking them to come full, to contribute like full amounts based on the county and the city, considering that, if you look at proportional, the city of Danville has 17,000, well, Perryville has much less than that, same with Junction, but it would be encouraging if we could get the others to kind of put some skin in the game too, because it'll help them, so.
Okay. Well, that's something we can, once
think
we
we-
digest on
yeah.
this, then we can see where that stands.
Yeah, I was gonna go talk to Perryville on Thursday, but if you want me to delay that. to
No,
the next
don't
meeting,
delay,
sure.
because kind of where Jamie was going on this, the longer we take, the longer it takes for this to get into motion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't want to
I'd like to
take,
have this back on the agenda in 2 weeks.
yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just not sure if I should ask them for funding or if I should just
Right.
give them an update that we're moving forward.
I think when we talked about it in the steering committee, we felt like everybody sitting around the table is the value here. So if we bear the cost for the county, the value is everybody's participating. And it just didn't seem worth it to us to go ask for
I understand that,
loans
but it
to
also,
the
we don't,
money. That's why we.
I don't want to give a perception that we're going to continue to run without including the input of Perryville and of Junction City and those people out there. I think that gives them an opportunity to kind of have a voice too when they kind of put some money into things as well.
But they're
So-
already included, they're part of the county,
Yeah.
so all
Well,
the people are paying
no.
taxes.
Well, the
so-
steering committee consisted of myself, Julie, the mayor was there,
Yep.
he had a representative with him, Junction mayor was there, so we all collectively talked
I understand.
together at that meeting.
Okay.
So, and this is just kind of
Yeah,
what we,
It's certainly not my
the direction we
intention
thought it should go.
to not include them. I think it's in a very important part of the process. This has been my kind of calling card from the beginning. I really want this to be a joint plan. I want it to be countywide, including all 3 cities plus the unincorporated county. It's my it's my top foremost goal for this plan.
I don't ever want to be down the road that it comes back that, well, the city and the county are the ones that paid for this, so you guys, it's nice, it's a nice moment right now to think that we're going to collectively work together, but if we give them the opportunity to contribute, that means that they've got, more say in things are, so.
It always comes down to finite dollars, infinite demand.
Yeah.
And as Magistrate Bosner just said, we are all county taxpayers right
course.
now.
Gary?
My name is Gerry. You asked me to be the interim director of planning and zoning for 45 days, which were 45 incredibly entertaining days. But part of the issue in being that was I did not realize how far behind we are in this process.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to me the things that when I was the chairman of planning and zoning 10 years ago was still on the books today. We have gotten so far behind on this. Now, one of the special moments that I've had already this year was seeing all of our elected officials, the judge, the mayor of Danville, the mayor of Perryville, and the mayor of Junction City, all sit in a room with the city manager and the city engineer, and just simply saying, we want what's best for Boyle County.
All right.
And we're going to do it together.
Right.
I applaud you for asking Perryville and Junction if they can give.
Yeah.
We will have asked.
Yep.
But we're not going to let that stand in the way.
Right.
But Jamie, the answer to your question is we believe for there to be the best comprehensive plan out there is we need to bring everybody together to have an input.
Yeah.
And to be a part of it. And that will take time. But we think for you all to make the best decisions for the county, we've got to have that input. So it will take some time, and we're hoping by April we can start that process of engaging people from, we want Perryville to do what's best for Perryville.
Yeah.
We want Junction City to do what's best for
Don't get me
Junction.
wrong, I'm not going to try to hold this up trying to like squeeze money out of Perryville or Junction. It's more of wanting to look out for their best interest, making sure that they're not sidelined because they technically didn't contribute into some of this. That's all I'm worried about.
Well, we're prepared to go to Perryville and Junction and say, okay, Mayor Douglas, I said, Mayor Douglas, we'll get the people in the room. Now, you all are the ones going to have to agree on what that's going to look like.
I mean, we're talking $50,000, so, in the grand scheme of being split, it's not that big of, I mean, it's not like us paying $50,000, but it's less, but Tom knows that I worry about Perryville not being included in things, and Paul will learn that I worry about Junction as well, and I don't want them to never be overlooked. And a lot of it is, if we're looking, Danville's kind of at its max, and so those are blessings to our communities that we can look to them to say if we're going to expand for some things here or there, that's awesome.
And they're not going to be overlooked. They haven't been overlooked. Because we were all together in one room with the steering committee.
I'm just looking at the past. I don't want there ever to be a problem where, I mean, this is like, they're all taxpayers, agreed.
Yep,
and I appreciate your concern in that, and it's got to be what's best for everybody.
Absolutely.
There's things in the county that's got to be decided.
Yeah.
And as a continuation down the line, there will be a time for public comment.
Oh, absolutely.
So we want to make sure that, our citizens know that at some point, they're going to have a say in what they want in their areas as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a big part of the process, and there will certainly be several public hearings in each of the jurisdictions. We talked about that with each of the consultants we met with as far as needing to get out to certain parts of the county as well. So that'll be a big part of the process.
Right. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
We'll
Thank you all.
get this back on the agenda in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. I will be here.
You all have a great day.
Thank
you. Harold Edwards, are you in the house?
He's out in the hallway.
Harold Edwards.
Harold Edwards.
No Harold Edwards?
There he is.
There's Harold.
Hey.
Welcome.
How are you all?
Come on in. You're next on the list.
Thank you all for getting us on the docket, and I want to thank the Fiscal Court for your service to our community. What I wanted to ask you all about today was, as for some time, as Tom knows, and I think this goes back to Judge Wilder and all the way up to current Judge Bottom, the Crawford House property at the edge of Perryville, which we're trying to get the state to sell because they don't have the means or desire to restore that property. And it's a very historic place. It was a site of 2 generals stayed there during the Battle of Carroll. And we have interested parties that are interested in coming in and looking at it, and I've showed it to a couple of people. And one of the things when I show that property is we look over at our convenience center. Now, let me say this about our convenience center. It is done very, very well. It's clean. I was there the other day. The guy that's there does a marvelous job. So this has nothing to do with that. But it's the appearance of the convenience center. As you come into town, that's the first thing you see. And so what we were requesting was Miss Allie Huff, who's director of our Main Street program, and Ed Miller, who's with me, who is the chairman of our Perryville Battlefield Commission, which I'm a member of both. We want to know if there's a desire or a way that the county could improve the frontage as you come in on 68 there. We have a welcome sign, welcome to Perryville, right beside our trash. You know, sometimes we don't notice those things. The local people, you know, we're there all the time. We don't pay attention to it. But I noticed the people that I brought there to look at the property look over there, and it's like kind of frown, you know. We got to have it, folks. I mean, you know, obviously. But can we? Is there a desire upon the fiscal court's part to maybe improve the look of that? I thought about approaching the Arbor Day Foundation about getting some trees donated, possibly putting up a wood fence. The entrance, guys, is you can get commercial vehicles in there. They're constantly knocking down the rock entrance there. If you go down and look at it right now, it's suffered some damage. So that's our request.
Okay.
And I'll let Ed and Allie, if you all have anything to say, you're welcome to.
Well, I just think, you know, what we've all been focusing on is county line to county line. You know, we want it to look and appear welcoming. And obviously, Perryville we have a quite vested interest in, but it just seems unkept and overgrown, if that makes sense. I meant to go get pictures of it to sort of show you all, and I kind of got sidetracked from that. But, you know, like side weeds and things growing out into the road, and it really does not, when you come in from Harrodsburg, it gives the appearance that our town is that unkept and not taken care of, which, as you all can see, hopefully that we are moving forward with Perryville, with the mayor and Main Street, and, you know, appearance of our town is top priority right now. And so that would just greatly improve that area coming into town.
I don't think that's a big request. I think we can easily work on getting that cleaned up and taken care of, either with vegetative screening, trees, shrubs, whatever, and fencing in some combination to clean up that and make that more attractive.
Well, we have Roger and Angie both here that could probably speak to on how easily that can be done, or questions and concerns. I think you got my support on this fully. You know, I've actually noticed that before. So coming from 68, especially when they were rerouting traffic when the bridge was out. I mean, that was a constant thing.
Main thoroughfare.
Yeah.
Judge, if everybody in the room just pictures in your mind, all the school children who go to Fort Herod, all the guests who come in from all over the country, when they come from Fort Herod, the route to come to right past Crawford House into Perryville is right there, and the imagery of that is anything but favorable. And Harold and I have talked about the possibility of exploring a budget item, and I know it's not for this budget year, but if there were some relief that we could move a line item, I'd just like to make a motion that we explore looking at the kind of prices that would be to put in evergreens that would grow, start them out at 5 feet like I did 22 years ago, and they're over 30 feet tall. That would be a magnificent screening, and there's plenty of margin between where people are pulling in and where they actually are on gravel to go to the convenience center. And we had actually talked in previous courts about possibly also going down the line between the house and the convenience center, so that we'd be at a right angle and screening that as well. And having planted 80 trees on my property 21 years ago, it's not going to be that expensive. So I'd like to make a motion that we explore within the current budget the possibility of looking at screening that we could get in with this early spring weather that we're having and move forward.
I'll second that motion.
Second, okay, Magistrate Ellis made the motion to explore the beautification to the entrance at the Carroll Recycling Center. Is that acceptable?
And as long as the motion includes a margin of protection, visual protection between the actual house and that side, that would be the west.
The Crawford House side would be the south side.
Okay, south
If you're
side.
looking in front of it, it'd be to your left.
Okay.
We have some people
Include that
that
in
are
the motion.
serious investors there that really want to make that something really special.
Mr. Edwards has a couple. I have two in my phone who have been badgering me for 3 years, and we now need to work it out with the state. We had Commissioner Meyer out there a year and a half ago along with Daniel Elliott, and we're told that it all lies now with the folks in finance. Counselor, we also need to work something out with respect to the actual property so that we can pull two together and make it attractive enough, because right now, under our ordinances, we cannot have any real activity on the less than favorable amount of land that's in the one of the two plots that are there. So a lot has to work out technically on that aspect, but if we could get to the screening right away, that would help tremendously.
You're talking about it not being a non-conforming lot because of the
Exactly.
acreage size?
Yeah, and I know we're in discussions with that, and we've got to move that forward as quickly as we can. We do not want to lose the potential investors, because the one wall of that magnificently important Confederate headquarters could collapse any day if we don't get on it.
Even Crawford House on the side, we still need to, as the entrance into kind of Perryville, we need to, or one of the.
Aside from that, yeah.
Aside from that, we need to move forward, so.
Okay, so we have a motion by Magistrate Ellis, and we have a second by Magistrate Cullen. Is there any other discussion on exploring the?
I just wonder, should the motion include who specifically is going to be responsible for looking into what specific improvements should be made, so that they can report back to the entire court? Is that, or is that?
As long as we're not pulling it together with the surveying problems that I'm talking about, but I'm not clear.
Well, do we want specific individuals? You said.
Do you want the road department supervisor?
Yeah, should we have specific individuals on this committee or task force?
As chair of Public Works, I appreciate that mention, and Roger's in the back of the room, and I'll be happy to work with Roger on that.
I mean, should we
and
have
Angie,
Roger and Angie and other people
Yeah.
come together, be the ones responsible to tell us what needs to be done out there?
Okay.
That would be the
And
normal
again, to
course of
clarify,
action.
I'm hoping that we're looking at some money that we currently have that we can move from one line item to another to do this before the warm
Okay.
temperatures start to really stay around and put new vegetation in jeopardy.
Needs a lot of new fencing.
So we'll ask our road supervisor and our solid waste coordinator to collaborate
Thank you.
That
on
would
that
be
effort
super.
and bring us some
That's-
quotes or whatever back to the court so we'll know.
Darlene
what we're
can probably
looking at.
give a little more yes or no on this, but that is all infrastructure and tourism that we could probably utilize, our ARPA dollars for. So.
That using ARPA dollars may be our main,
Access.
access.
I think that probably would be the best use of this.
Thank you.
All right. Any more discussion? Would you like to say?
Appreciate it, thank you. I'd just say thanks to everyone for considering this, because it's two things. I think it's a gateway to the county and the battlefield. It really is very significant. I think more than I think a lot of people realize. Kentucky was very, very important to that period. I think we ought to be proud of it and take advantage of this opportunity. So we do really appreciate it.
All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nays? Motion carries.
Thank you,
So
Judge.
much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a great
Thank
day.
you all.
Thank you.
All right, next is Teresa McGhee with Daughters of the American Revolution. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm Teresa McGhee, Regent for St. Asaph Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. You all will be happy to know I'm not here to ask for money. I'm here to invite you all to our meeting, May the 11th, at 5:30 p.m. That's a Thursday. Our speaker will be Mel Hankler. I'm sure most of you all have heard him or are aware of him. He's a wonderful Kentucky historian. He's an authority on the Kentucky long rifle. And I have an invitation for everybody.
All right. And where will this be at?
I'm sorry, to be at the Arts Center.
Arts Center, okay.
At 5:30 in the evening.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for the invitation.
That's all I have to say.
All
Any
right.
questions?
Man, I'd just make one comment. If you've never met Mel Hankler, he goes into character with at least 3 or 4 Kentucky historical figures. And he is, as Teresa has said, an extraordinary authority on the history of long rifles and powder horns and pistols that date back into the 1700s.
Awesome, thank you.
Sounds very interesting.
I'll just hand these and you all can pass them around.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Is Kari? Oh, Kari Q with the Humane Society.
How are we doing today?
Good. Welcome.
Good.
You didn't bring any pets along with you?
No pets. Just this animal right here. I am going to start out briefly with sharing some statistics, a little data from last year. The Danville County Humane Society and Boyle County Animal Control together helped place more than 170 pets in homes, reunited 76 lost animals with their people, helped folks in the community access low or no cost spay and neuter surgery, and we did over 1,400 animals. We helped 1,400 animals get fixed. And finally, because of all of our programming, we achieved a nearly 90% save rate. It was 89.7, so I could probably round up. Basically what that means is 90% of the animals that came through the Humane Society and shelter made it out either through adoption, rescue. The point is they're getting out instead of being euthanized, which was something we had a problem with 6 or 7 years ago. Anyway, that just kind of gives you an overview of what we've been doing together. Again, I think it's important to recognize the partnership that the Humane Society has with Boyle County Fiscal Court and primarily the folks that work in the shelter. You know, there's only 4 of us, so we work very closely together. And I think that's a good indication of how we work together. Another thing that's an indication of our strong partnership is y'all have been coming to board meetings. And I'm here.
Yes.
I will be the second Tuesday of every month. Steve attended the Kentucky Welfare Summit with us a couple weeks ago, which is very much appreciated.
Did you all get an award?
Well, we did. No.
Oh. You have an award. I thought-
No, but we did present. We were invited to present, which I think is a pretty,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's kudos for what we're doing. Definitely.
And that was in Frankfurt.
Correct. Yes, the first ever. And we got to debut our video about the Community Cat program. I should share that with y'all. It's pretty good. And then just speak about our Community Cat program because it's been very successful.
We can set you up for that, your next presentation.
Sounds good to me. Oh my gosh, I love that. So I don't have to talk?
Just send us.
We'll just play a video.
Yeah, just send us the video. We'll work that in.
Excellent. One more note on our partnership. Humane Society has been feverishly working to draft a new set of procedures and policies. And I have shared a couple versions with y'all. What you guys got, no bueno. There's nothing, it's pretty much defunct. But I did send the mostly updated.
I shared it.
Okay, perfect.
With others.
Perfect.
And that will help us too, to kind of align our policy and procedures with.
I think that makes perfect sense. I think that's a great idea. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, obviously you can reach out to me. All right, I'm going to bounce back to the Community Cat program briefly because it is getting a whole lot of attention nationally. Best Friends Animal Society, Team Shelter USA, the Joni Bernard Foundation, all very well-respected national organizations, have all highlighted us or requested us to speak or asked for our advice. So that is really a testament to the changes we've made in Danville County, just fixing outdoor cats. You know, it makes everyone healthier, increases community immunity, stops spreading any disease, and of course, they don't make any more babies, which is a huge key. We always get a matching amount to match our Kentucky State Department of Agriculture. I guess I made that too difficult. Anyway, every year they do a spay and neuter grant, and we have been a lucky recipient, and y'all have been kind enough to match those funds. So that helps us fix more animals. We appreciate that. You may have seen, I know Trilly did, we have been distributing free cat food in the community. We got a bunch donated from Chewy and the Humane Society of the United States. I think we got 18 pallets.
I think that's right.
It's insane. We have 5 left.
Cody's everywhere now.
Cody is everywhere now, and if anyone needs to come to the shelter, we have plenty at the shelter too. In fact, this afternoon, we're doing a distribution, so swing on by or tell your folks to come by. We have 2 new programs I'd like to share with you. The Keeping Them Together Fund, which is something we picked up from other humane societies in the States. Basically, it is a grant program for folks who have a critical, immediate need for medical care for their pets. So there's an application. I mean, we're not just giving it out. You do have to fill out an application. We have to go through the committee and make sure it checks all the boxes. But we've been able to help a couple folks so far. We kind of like to spread the word a little bit because we know there's folks who need it, and we're happy to help. And we're also launching a Doggy Day Out program, which sounds exactly like what it is, pretty much. You can go on a sniffing journey and take a dog on a walk. I know, right? Isn't that cute? You can have a doggy sleepover, again, what it sounds like. Take a dog home and they just spend the night with you. And it's all about giving these guys a break from the shelter. And then finally, just regular old day field trips. Come pick up a dog, take them to get a pup cup, take them home to watch a movie. The point is, we need these guys to get enrichment outside the shelter walls. So.
And Kari might mention there that the people that do take the pets home, the animals home, are asked to do a report card so that it helps develop some information for how they behave outside of the shelter.
Bingo. Exactly.
And it helps with the adoption process.
That is exactly right. Exactly. Let's see, I think I'm almost done. Obviously, you can reach out to me if you have any questions. And of course, the shelter staff is, they're yours, really. So of course, they're always willing to help. And you can stay updated all the time, even without talking to me. Don't wait till the second Tuesday of the month if you need anything. You can check out the Joe Show. I am there the second Friday of every month. Have a good time with him. Let's take credit where credit's due. I write in news articles for AM News quite a bit, including the Pet of the Week. So I invite you to check that out. And of course, our Facebook page is populated with all kinds of up-to-date information. So there are a couple ways you can keep an eye on what we're doing. And again, feel free to reach out to me directly. I appreciate you all having done that a couple times. Very cool.
I'd just like to make one comment, Judge. Cody is one extraordinary young man.
We are so lucky.
After we eliminated the groundhogs that had burrowed under our barn, Mama and Papa cats came in, had 4 or 5 kittens, and over a period of weeks, it was remarkable. We'd be sitting in our back room watching TV at 9:30 at night, and there's Cody coming in to check the traps. And the most important thing is, once these cats are neutered, they're put back as close in the area as they've been, so your mice and your moles are probably going to still be eliminated. So there's a bonus to everybody.
That is wonderful. Thank you. And I will say one other thing. I was chatting with a woman from DAR, and she told me that she adopted a dog off of our Home to Home website. Oh, there you are. I'm sorry. Hi. Thanks for adopting a dog from Home to Home. Home to Home is a self-supported rehoming service where folks post their pets on our site, and we promote them to the community. They go from one home directly into another, avoiding a shelter stay altogether. Been very successful. I appreciate you taking advantage of that. Yes.
First one, what are your hours at the shelter that people can come in and adopt or for intake, like a stray or something?
Well, intake is out of my purview.
Okay.
That would be your ACOs.
Okay.
Now, they are at the shelter. Shelter staff are there from 8 to 4.
Okay.
The Humane Society opens in the afternoons, 1 to 4 for adoptions.
For adoptions, okay.
So yeah,
So 1 to 4.
As far as surrendering, usually there's a conversation first, and they, you know, Christina, Elias, and Jessica figure out what to do at that point.
And then on the cats that you all are spaying or neutering, are they tested for cat leukemia before they're released?
They are not. They are, well, there's a lot of research that says because the incidence of cats with FELUC or FIV is about 1%. So if we were testing every cat, and we used to, I want to be clear about that, and when we were testing every cat, it was a minimum. I mean, I don't know if we ever had one. Truly, I don't know if we've ever had one. So the expense just doesn't make sense with, you know, the outcome, what we're getting.
Okay.
And also keep in mind, FIV and FELV cats can live perfectly healthy lives. Used to be a death sentence. We thought that they were going to spread the disease, but it's so specific. You have to have a bite or have to mate. You know, it's not sharing food bowls or water bowls. Nothing's going to happen.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, I mean, it's a huge change from what folks used to be doing.
Good to know. Thank you.
That's it.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right,
Please,
thank
again,
you.
feel free to reach out.
Have a great day.
Y'all
Appreciate
too.
you being here.
Thank you.
All right, Boyle County Jailer Brian Wofford. I thought you was out in the hall, that's why I was talking loud.
You found the seat.
I didn't mean to yell at you.
I'm used to
Or
it.
he needs that.
Nothing's changed over 20 years. I'm used to it. So, like I say, following kind of what we do, good morning, everybody. Currently, we're at 220 inmates. Boyle is 81, Mercer is 37. Department of Correction is 96. I'm housing 5 for other counties. I have 1 on work release. And in the past 72 hours, we've booked in 19, released 14, and we have 66 that's on temp release. So they could be in treatment or in another facility waiting for court or something like that. So.
Is that all you got?
And, yeah, man, it's short and sweet. And then you all should have received, I guess in your packets or on your digital form now. So this basically, the top sheet, the 22-23 jail pay rate that's current, and then the first draft on the second page of the 23-24 is kind of what we're proposing by starting out at moving our starting salary to $18 an hour, and then just kind of bumping everybody else up across the board, so we don't have somebody that's been there 2 years making less than somebody that would start today. And then also that reflects on our supervisors, our corporals, sergeants, lieutenants, and captains would get a little raise because of their responsibilities and duties they have.
This is very significant in terms of the need, both short-term and long-term. How many officers have we lost right across town?
We have lost, I think, 3 that I can think of off the top of my head.
And one was in a supervisory
Yeah,
position?
one of them was a lieutenant. He'd been there 10 years, and basically he was getting a $10,000 or $11,000 pay increase, not counting the overtime and with the hazardous duty.
And hazardous duty.
Yeah, so
wouldn't have to work with Chad.
That's yeah. And then so you know, here's the thing: we're competing. So if this is the job pool, you know, only about this many are really looking to work in corrections. So it's even harder than, you know. So I'm competing not only against North Point, which is 5 minutes away, but factories, you know, here in town that's paying you know, decent money and sign-on bonuses and other things. So it's hard to compete.
You know, we've had a lot of discussion about this, good discussion about this importance of this issue, and I really think it is important that we make this move and increase this pay rate to stay competitive. This you've all heard me say a lot of times. It's important that we're market competitive, in our positions. And we also talked about the timing of this in some of our meetings, and it's important to recognize that the jail budget, because of its timing, which is pretty much our first budget that gets approved statutorily by KRS, that I think we need to go ahead and implement this now, prior to the big budget cycle, as part of the jail budget cycle, so we can get this in play and get this going right away. And we've talked with Darlene, who's in these meetings, and it should be basically a wash, because we've been so down in personnel, and we're hoping that this will also help with our overtime issues. There's always going to be overtime. You can never eliminate overtime in a jail environment, but we're hopeful that by attracting and retaining our people, that we can eliminate some of those issues.
And then, so this will be added in the new budget, and we had our first meeting last week, myself, the judge, and then Darlene. So we'll go ahead and add these new numbers for next year's budget.
I think in order to keep our qualified and our trained staff and not have to keep retraining, we have to look to be competitive with our starting salaries. So,
who's making the motion?
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Magistrate Gay makes a motion to approve the salary increase for jail employees across the board as presented by Jailer Wofford.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Now, is there any discussion on?
Now, will that take place after the budget is approved?
That will be effective.
Is it March?
It's April 1st. Is it, so he needs it for his budget.
So if I could come back maybe during April, and then we go ahead and set a date.
Yeah, I think right after your budget, I think it needs to correlate with.
Because I think, I'd have to get my budget set first.
With your budget.
Yeah.
It correlates with your budget.
You've got to get these numbers
cycle.
in your budget.
Right.
Before we can.
Right.
Yeah, so I think if we do that, then
so what's the date?
1st, the next pay period after April 1st.
So I can come back either the 1st or 2nd. Meeting, yeah, in April, after the budget is approved.
Okay.
And then, let's do it then. I think that would make.
So right now, we're going to approve increasing the salaries as presented by.
And him putting it in his budget.
So that he can put it in his budget for April 1st.
Thank you.
Okay.
But when does, just for clarification, because I'm a little confused, when does this salary increase take effect?
Well, if they're talking about April 1st, well, our budget would be approved, but the new budget doesn't go until July the 1.
July.
So are we talking about implementing it in between?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So
I would come back in April and we would discuss.
You want to implement the first payroll in
April.
April.
In April, yes.
The first payroll.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Judge, did you have more, Brian?
Well, the thing too is I'd kind of like to come back and look at it in April, because there's some other issues where we're changing healthcare companies. That line item is going to be higher than a little normal, so I want to make sure I don't really blow the budget.
Sure.
I want to stay within
sure
my budget.
You don't either.
So that's why if I could come back in April,
okay,
and then Darlene will have a chance, we can sit down and look, okay, where are we at, what do we have left in line items that would cover that, so I don't, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to be.
Sounds good, perfect.
I want to make sure I'm
Well,
responsible.
in consideration of all that, and I want them to get it as soon as they can, I kind of feel like it might be better to let you get all of your budget.
That would make life a lot easier on me.
And then we make it effective July 1.
Okay.
That way we can put it in, he can put it in his budget, we can put it in our budget, and then.
If you're comfortable with that.
Then with the
that timing
new
is
fiscal
okay.
year,
I think to be safe with the other,
Yeah.
with the switching of the healthcare companies,
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
safer on the budget.
Because when you take all that in consideration, we don't
be
know
fiduciary responsible.
what that's gonna do to
That
our
works.
budget either.
I just think it's important that we send the message.
Well, like I said,
Absolutely.
if we can come back in April and look at it, we may know if we can do it or not, and not have to wait till
And then
July.
we can decide at that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Let's
if
do that.
If you all would,
I think
if that's okay with the court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so we're
once
not
you
gonna have
get
an
your budget
effective date.
solidified, we'll be in a better position
Yes,
to
thank you.
make that.
So we're not gonna have an effective date right now.
Right,
We'll
let's
just-
get, we'll decide in April.
Okay.
Just
so
we're
all those
authorizing
in-
him to build it in his budget.
Yes. So all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, thank you.
Judge, before we, Jeff Moore?
No, sir. I just got
Before we lose Brian, and knowing how short-staffed he is, you may not be able to stay till the end. We have just learned in the last few days, the judge knows, Brian knows, that there's a new piece of legislation in Frankfurt that could delay our ability to build a jail 6 to 9 years. Could you comment on that?
Well, basically, the House bill, I was notified that the night after it went in, I guess came out of committee, went into committee, and then of course I made my calls to, you know, our state representative and our senator and Tom as well. So as far as myself, you know, I'm against this, and so is the Kentucky Jailers Association. So we are, you know, trying to lobby, we don't want this bill to pass. Because what basically, and I can't say a whole lot because of the lawsuit, so it's basically.
So maybe you shouldn't.
An action.
It puts a moratorium on
yes.
any new construction.
And not only that, it goes away from, you have to build a regional jail. So basically, the jailer, what would happen would the counties would have to form a board and hire a jail administrator. Now, whoever's the jailer at the time is still a jailer, but they will not be working at the jail. So, you know, they could go work in for the circuit judge's office, you know, there. So that, because my job is constitutional. So, but it's going to cost, you know, it's more expense for the counties. It takes away control for the counties. I know that, and kind of going back to Jamie has talked about this before, you know, maybe we need to get rid of state inmates. Well, and I think we need to have this discussion before, you know, about building the jail. What do we want to build? You know, if we do want to get rid of state inmates, okay, we're going to lose a little over $1 million. Darlene, do you know that number off the top of your head? I know it's a little over $1 million.
I don't know off the top.
Okay.
But how much does it cost us?
Well, here's the thing. It's going to be a little over $1 million a year in revenue, but our cost would go down, but what both counties have to pay would increase a little bit. So you would still have that 6832 being paid. So, you know, if we did do away with the state inmates and we just house Boyle and Mercer, which, you know, what we would do is we wouldn't lay anybody off. Just through attrition, when people, you know, left the jail, we wouldn't refill those positions, and then I could restructure and reorganize our staff in there to fill. So it would actually take less staff. So our costs would go down, but the amount that both counties would have to pay would increase. Does that make sense? Because we're losing that revenue, but we don't, you know, our health care, our biggest expense.
It's not really revenue. It's a robbing Peter to pay Paul, because what you're doing.
It's not profit.
It's not
it's
profit.
Cash flow.
Yeah, it's cash flow, exactly what it is. So we're not technically losing money. We're losing money by housing the state inmates in there. So
especially with the medical expense.
Correct.
So basically, you know, our biggest cost, our biggest line item would be our employees, and then probably health care and food. So those three would drop. Now, we still have our fixed cost, you know, our electric and water, which those should decrease as well, because you don't have as many inmates in there taking showers, as much laundry, you know, all those things associated with it. So
we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Well, yes, but I still think that's a discussion the fiscal court needs to have, especially right now before we purchase land, because, you know, like I say, my numbers are back up to 220, so I'm full. I have 220 beds. So, you know, that's something I think the fiscal court needs to sit down and look at. How many beds we want to build, who do we want to house, who do we don't want to house, and that's something you all have to decide.
I sit on the.
But we can't really decide anything until we know what's going to happen with their legislation.
Well, either way, yeah, because you could still go forward.
We need to get moving on it that way, if we're not behind the 8 ball, if this doesn't go anywhere, and we can just start.
Because you still need to make that same decision, whether they pass this one or not.
I sit on the Kentucky Magistrates and Commissioners Association Legislative Committee, and yesterday we had a long conversation about this piece of legislation. Here's the peculiar, ironic circumstance. If any jail has substandard delivery of care or any problems with the facility, we might just have a few. One hand of state and federal government could more than slap your wrist, while the other hand would say, you can't borrow money to remedy that circumstance. This is the old thing of, at one end, an agency of government is damming up a river, and at the other end, they're breaking it loose. I mean, it's just a very complex circumstance, brought on by really a deficiency of us getting $34 and change from the state and us having a cost of around $45 a day.
And this is just me, Brian Wofford, my opinion, but I think this is setting up for an overreach for the state government that I would not agree with. I think it's basically setting up so they can come in and take over facilities.
And it's fundamentally against the philosophy of home rule. If you don't understand home rule, it is please, Frankfurt, please, Washington, do not send us, and this is a terrible term that we're already suffering on behalf of our county taxpayers in many areas, unfunded mandates. You will do this, but we won't pay for it out of state or federal funds.
You know, it goes back to the, hello, we're the government, we're here to help. So, call the question.
Hey Brian, that number's between 1.2 and 1.4 million.
So that's what we receive in revenue from the state. But we're not, just like I say, it's not a profit, it's just cash flow.
One hand washing the other. One hand still sees a little
the medical care that we get stuck having to pay most of is what kills us.
But what Jamie and I just talked about real quick was, we just kind of said, as long as we keep taking the inmates, the state's going to say, okay, well, they're not that upset about it, so we'll pay them what we want. So we push back and say, we're not taking it, and they have nowhere to put them, then we kind of are in the driver's seat instead of,
100%.
Yeah, so anyway, all right.
You have some recognition?
Yes, like the recognition. So we just finished our audit of our canteen funds, and for 4 years in a row, the ladies that take care of that for me have received a perfect score. So I told them when I first came in, I said, you do this 4 years in a row, and I said, I'll get the fiscal court to buy you all dinner at Jeff Ruby's. So we all need to pass the hat so they can go. But anyway, they've done an outstanding job.
That's why Barry's not here.
But listen, that's a lot of work on especially bookkeeping and keeping those, and we get audited, and they have done a phenomenal job for not just for me, but for the county. They're a big resource for me, especially with Melissa. She's been there 27, going on 28 years. 28 already. She could do this job with her eyes closed. So, the thing is, she's only 29. So, but and also with Lieutenant Lyons, she picks up and steps and takes a lot on. And then also, of course, well, we know the other one that left me, so I don't have a lot to say. But she did a great job there. She did a phenomenal job for me on the canteen, because it's a lot of inventory and accounting, and then making sure that everything's passed and accounted for and tracked. So Elaina did an excellent job for me as well, and I hate to lose her.
She just wanted something more challenging.
Yeah. So if they come up, I'll present them with Lieutenant Sarah Lyons, Captain Melissa Jones.
Y'all are coming up all.
Yeah, everybody in the movement. And then Elaina Plyman. Yours, and then somebody here, Judge, you want to come and get a picture with us? Sure. Get a picture with us.
Sure. Elaina, I think that's just the first jab of many more to come.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a few.
It's going to be as long as she's
It's been a while.
That's the reason why she's here. She can take it.
Can you get out? Yep, I can. If this gentleman doesn't care if I lean into him. Wonderful.
Mr. Weathers, a good man.
That's all I have.
Wonderful.
Thank you, David Wooford. We appreciate that, and we appreciate those employees for the work that they do.
And I appreciate you all, taking a look at the pay, because it's a hard job, and they deserve the pay. So thank you all.
We do. Okay, next we have the Brandstetter Carroll agreement. This was put in your packet before all this jail lawsuit came up, so I'll just see what you all, Tom, if you want to speak to this, and see what you all want to do, if you want to table it until after.
Speaking as chair of the jail committee, I think our only recourse right now would be to table this contract to a later date. The General Assembly will go home March 30th. I regret to say that in our conversation with the Legislative Committee of the Kentucky Magistrates Association, leadership in both the House and the Senate are delivering the message that they will pass some version of House Bill 507. There's every reason to believe that I'll be going down there tomorrow to testify on behalf of our concerns. In other information today that I'll talk about later, you're going to see a write-up that I've done that would basically parallel what I would have to say. I was in conversation this morning with 7:30 with the executive director of the association. He's gravely concerned that with the House and Senate leadership passing the message to all of the 100 in the House and 36 in the Senate, that this will pass in some form, that it would be injudicious at this point to move forward on the contract that we all had hoped and prayed that we'd be signing today.
So can I go ahead and make a motion, we table it till, let's say, March 21st. That way we're not behind the 8 ball. If we get indication that it's not going anywhere, we can still act before.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made by Magistrate Cullen to table the contract signing until March 21st.
21st is special call.
Oh.
Oh.
Do the
Well,
28th.
Oh, 28th, I'm sorry.
28th,
Okay.
Thank you.
28th. Thank you for
Okay,
that.
so it will be tabled until March the 28th. Magistrate Ellis made the second, and this motion is undebatable and no discussion. So all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Contract will be tabled until March 28th. Steve Griffin, Human Resources, come on in.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve.
This is always the one who give the rest of the people understanding what we're doing.
Yeah.
We can discuss it. No, well, I got to get a second. We can discuss it.
The fiscal court had years ago approved to provide compensatory time to our non-exempt employees and limit that to 80 hours accumulated time. Anything over that, they'd be paid their time and a half for any hours worked. They also approved to offer compensatory time to our exempt employees, and in our policy it limits it to 24 hours accumulated time. And in reality, that's not a lot of time. We had one director who spent 30 hours on the weekend, and so if he had any balance at all, he couldn't have accumulated anything. So, and with that, we haven't been real diligent about controlling our balances. So we've got a number of people that are over what the state typically allows. The state allows 240 hours for their exempt employees to accumulate. And right now, ours is limited to 24. We'd like to increase ours to 240 as well for exempt employees. Leave the non-exempt the same way it is, 80. And then if they work more than that, they just pay their time and a half for it.
My motion still stands.
All right, motion by Magistrate Cullen to approve.
I read the back.
The change in the exempt employee hours to 240 hours of compensatory time, seconded by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion?
And that's going to be reflected in resolution number 23.02.28, which I prepared.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Do we want to?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. The other issue is we have some employees who are significantly over, what we said before, but now we have 2 employees that are still over the 240 hours. And I would like to recommend that we pay those 2 employees out for that amount that they're over the 240, and then we'll be diligent about making sure nobody goes over that anymore.
Make a motion, we approve that.
Do you have those amounts?
Yes, for one of them is $2,212.80. The other is $5,629.81.
I made the motion.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen to approve paying the 2 employees. They're over 240 hours. Second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion?
Yeah, I would just like to say we need to make sure we keep that in check.
Absolutely.
Because that does become a liability.
Absolutely.
To
We will do that
the
going
county,
forward.
and so we need to make
And
sure.
Steve and I
that
have
happens.
discussed that numerous occasions. That
Steve, how long have you been employed with the county?
Year.
A year? That was why he's here.
Exactly.
This is why he's here. This is why it was a good move to have him brought on, and we need an HR professional here, and this is the kind of stuff that will help us go forward, so.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion
Y'all
carries.
keeping up with where we voted?
Yeah, I know.
I like the fact that it's teamwork over there.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Shannon Green? Comp time agreements?
No, it's the incentive, the training incentive.
Training
I'll sit
incentive.
back on this one. I got skin in the game on this one.
There were several
Okay.
training incentives.
Okay, we have, do you want me to read them? Okay. We have Magistrate Cullen, Magistrate Ellis, Magistrate Gay, and Jailer Wofford have qualified to receive their incentive agreement payments. And motion to approve. Magistrate Bodner, second. Magistrate Sleeper, any discussion?
Nope, except for Wolford.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, their training incentive payments have been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Solid Waste and Recycling Director, Angela Muncie.
Motion we table.
Come on down.
That'd be all right. Good morning.
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 Okay, so what I have is the 2022 annual report, which is due every year, March the 1st. Basically just gives our totals for the year and all that good stuff. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Questions on this? Thank you for doing this. You do an awesome job, but this in itself is a
We'll get to
major
take
deal,
this with
so-
us tomorrow.
All
so
right, yeah, we're going to recycling
We're going to training tomorrow.
training.
Nice.
Do you need approval or just for our
Just
FYI?
approval for Trilly to sign.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Ellis for me to sign the annual report. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion
And the other
carries.
one,
It's been
we've got,
signed.
that's a quick one, the HHW grant, which was not due till April 1st, but it's the easy one to do. It's just for another event for the last Saturday in August, and
Is this for the tires?
no. HHW, hazardous household waste, Jason. No tires.
Got tree
It's
tires.
8-tire year this year.
So
next year.
paint, oil, batteries.
Right.
Separate.
We done another successful year last year. We blew it out of the water again. The year before we had 11 tons of paint. This past year we had 7. But what I'm really working on right now and what increased, we got rid of 1 ton of batteries. I'm talking household batteries.
Oh,
So
wow.
I am working on a campaign right now, and at Tolliver Elementary, they have an Admiral Adventure Academy. So on March the 6th, I'm going to go, and we are going to kick off that little campaign with cans and to collect batteries, and so they're going to help me do this campaign.
Is this a matching grant?
The hazardous household waste, it's 25% matching, yes.
25%,
It's
okay.
all in kind, basically, so
Okay.
we won't be out no money.
Okay.
Question that I have, because I've got several of them, and I've had other people ask, do y'all take electronic devices like tablets, phones that
Yes.
are? Okay.
Yes, we do take e-scrap. You have to bring it to the recycling center.
Recycling center, though,
Yes.
okay, okay.
And you need a motion authorizing me to sign this?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Saying aye. Any opposed, nay? Y'all have to excuse me, I got things running through my brain, and all of a sudden it just got a little click there, and I just
Can I
forget
get you
what
to
I'm...
sign that real quick?
I
That way
did.
it'll be ready for tomorrow.
Sign both. Do you have copies? All right.
So when did she say you can bring your tires over there?
When are you
Thank
off?
you,
What day are
ma'am.
you off?
Appreciate it. Okay, next we have the Ephraim McDowell bond approval,
I'll bring it over for my class.
and this will be our first reading.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions.
Okay,
I'm just
good.
here, bond counsel for the deal, so.
Awesome, okay.
Yeah, basically, the county issued 2 series of bonds in 2014 for Ephraim McDowell. And they use a variable interest rate that's based on the LIBOR index, which is no longer going to exist as of this June. So we're basically amending the original documents from 2014 to swap in a new interest rate to replace the one that's going away.
And I'm sorry, what was your name?
Callie Kidwell.
So this will not hurt any future bonding capabilities of Boyle County in any
No,
way?
yeah, these are on behalf of, so they don't count against your debt level.
I spoke with RJ yesterday,
Wonderful.
and he assured me that everything was fine,
Okay.
that it would not affect us in any way.
I have about 2 chapters of this in my Series 7, but
Yeah.
bonds.
Well, she stole my thunder. I was going to say the exact same thing. If anybody wanted to know, the LIBOR rate, which is what we have now, is the London Interbank Offered Rate. And then the one that they're switching to is the secured, it's SOFR, Secured Overnight Financing Rate. And it's a benchmark interest rate for dollar-denominated derivatives and loans that is replacing LIBOR. So, anyway. So we need to have this is the first reading of that bond amendment, and basically it's an ordinance of the County of Boyle County authorizing the execution and delivery of a consolidated amendment to bond documents related to the county's outstanding hospital refunding revenue bond series 2014A, E for McDowell Health Obligated Group, and a consolidated amendment to bond documents related to the county's outstanding hospital revenue bond series 2014B, E for McDowell Health Obligated Group, and authorizing and directing the county judge, executive, county clerk, and other county officials to take all necessary action to carry out the intent and purpose of this ordinance.
And this is ordinance number 950.25, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion made by Magistrate Gay to approve the first reading of ordinance number 950.25. Is there a second? Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
I would just like to say I'm Amanda Kim and I'm the CFO at Ephraim, and I would just like to express our thankfulness and of your support. We really appreciate the Boyle County Fiscal Court, and thank you for approving it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you both for being here. Okay, Roger Johnson. You're up.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm here this morning. I have 2 things. I would like to purchase a grapple bucket and a trailer for our skid steer loader. I have quotes. I don't know if y'all got them there.
We do, yes.
Okay. On the grapple bucket, would like to get that from John Deere. Okay. And then on the trailer, I like to get that from J&T Trailers. And the reason for that is they already have it in stock there. The other was like a month out. So that's the...
And these are budgeted items?
Well, I have traded out.
Okay.
Yes. For that. We talked about that, traded out. We're not getting a piece of equipment, so I've got this in the, where we can get that through the budget.
If I remember right, you're coming in less than your
Exactly,
budget,
yes.
than your budget was.
Yeah.
That's just so all the measures can be on board.
So so yeah, both of these are the low low bids as well, which is great.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'll make the motion we approve.
Okay. Magistrate Cullen made the motion to approve the purchase of grapple bucket and equipment trailer, seconded by Magistrate Ellis.
And also, I won't throw this.
Is there any discussion?
Well, on the trailer, I'll need to pay on delivery.
Okay.
Well, I guess that goes back to my motion. Are we not paying on delivery for both of them? Or?
Well, we won't have to at John Deere. I mean, we already got an account with them, so we can just
so then
we can just do a PO with them. But on the trailer, I'll have to do.
That's fine. I'll amend my motion to pay on delivery.
Yeah. Okay. Second. Sorry about that.
Okay. Amendment to the motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Ellis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And you want to give us an update on any high wind issues or anything?
Not as of right now.
All
Everything's so far, so good.
While you're here, yesterday I was hearing from Magistrate Cullen about the trees that we're not responsible for on 52.
He's tired of hearing from me.
No, I mean, I have contacted the state about that, and, you know, they tell me, well, if we're talking to our guys to maybe get in contact with whoever's, I don't know who's responsible. Well, we kind of know who's responsible.
There's a
but I don't know.
possibility that it's Spectrum, and
Yes.
we made that clear to them. They're checking that out as well.
Yes.
I had the guy from Spectrum drive out that way yesterday on his way home, so
Okay.
that way he could see the severity of it.
Yeah, but it's
And
amazing.
according to him, they're not supposed to be trimming the trees very much at all, and that's a
Well,
good amount. So.
I mean, somebody needs to clean it up.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I mean, it's a mess out there.
Exactly.
It sure is. But we had flood damage, you know, so we're still kind of working on that.
Okay.
So, but anyway, we're
Oh, you guys
doing
said
good.
thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate all you guys do.
Thank you all.
Pass that to your guy, to your crew.
Good, thanks.
Oh, I would say too, speaking about Roger, I've spoken with him. There's a concrete box inlet that was damaged by SRM, which is a concrete company. They backed over it, and Roger and I have talked, and I'm getting some estimates. I got one today from the Allen company to replace that. So, been working with Roger, and Dwayne also made a call in to him as well. So hopefully we'll get that fixed.
Thank you.
So,
People in Hunt Farms will be happy about that.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, next is the House Bill 4 solar discussion, and I believe Magistrate Ellis is going to inform us on this.
Yes, if you'll pull it up on your screen, it's just more, and this is something I think will be favorable to with both KCO and KMCA, more caution with respect to solar. And Counselor, am I correct that we have enough breadth in our ordinance that we, or I guess it's the moratorium that also covers wind as well as solar? Julie and I talked about that.
I'm not positive.
No,
Okay.
no, we're specifically solar on this.
But for right now, House Bill 4, we should look at it very closely, but I believe we should be favorable on it. And over the weekend, Mercer County Judge Steele has issued a document, and I would like to, I haven't got it copied yet, but for other purposes that I'll talk about in our round robin, it's one of several documents that I'd like to submit to the record so that we can all study the issue and have at least a start with similar circumstances that they have in Mercer County, so that we can be apprised of the sorts of things that we'll face and need to be aware of. So that's the summation of what I'd say about that.
Okay. Any other discussion on that?
No.
Thank you, Magistrate Ellis.
Did we skip Casey?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to that.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Okay. Darlene, Treasurer Darlene?
Yes.
You're gonna discuss the resolution approving the memorandum of agreement between us and the State Highway Department for road funding.
Yeah, we received, I got a visit last week, and we received $196,400 in discretionary funds for Alum Springs. Excuse me. For Alum Springs Cross Pike and Springfield Road. So I have a resolution adopting and approving the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the Boyle County Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Highways, in the amount of $196,400 for the FD 39 funds, Alum Springs Cross Pike, Springfield Road, and be it resolved by the Fiscal Court that the Fiscal Court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said agreement, and does hereby accept the funds provided in said agreement, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated, and the Judge Executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said agreement as set forth on behalf of the Fiscal Court of Boyle County, and the Fiscal Court Clerk of Boyle County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto. Commonwealth of Kentucky, Boyle County.
Thank you very much. And one of these roads will be in the Magistrate Bogner's district, and one will be in Magistrate Ellis's district. So is there a motion to approve the resolution and memorandum of agreement?
Second.
Okay, Magistrate Bogner makes the motion, Magistrate Ellis seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Thank you, ma'am. And now we are up to Art Center of the Bluegrass, Nikki Kincaid.
Am I speaking?
If you would like, whoever.
I'll let Brian.
We all might have
Okay, all right, we'll let Brian talk.
So I am Brian Huxley. My normal job is the CFO at Center College. I'm also the president of the board of the Art Center. And the rest of my spare time, I'm the chair of the Economic Development Corporation, recently formed. And I work with quite a few of you, but not all of you. And here today just to talk about what I would consider one of the most incredible projects that I can think of in my lifetime that I've been able to get involved with. And it happened for lots of different reasons, but partly because of the exhibit that was at the Art Center of the Bluegrass. And people saw that and they're like, we gotta do something. How do we make something more permanent? Lo and behold, at the same time, we're looking at expanding our breadth of programming and things that we do in Danville and Boyle County. So we looked at buying the building. And actually today, the closing on the building with the city is 3 o'clock today? 3 o'clock today. So at some point later today, the city will own that property. So I've been working personally with a couple donors, but some key donors, and they have said all along, they see this as a partnership. The Art Center of the Bluegrass, the city, the county, and Center College. I think that's how it's gonna, and the community, the broader community, right? All the different people that participated in the original fundraiser to renovate that building over a decade ago. We're looking to all of those people. We're looking to the companies around the region. We're looking to the state. We're looking to foundations. And so I'm here just to say, in my personal belief, this is a game changer for Danville. If you look at and Boyle County and the broader region, it has so many elements that I can't think of any other projects on the table that I can think of that have all those things. So it's obviously art and culture, it's history, it's travel tourism, it's education. You know, Nikki can tell you the number of people from Boyle County, the students that come to the Art Center for programming, both during the year and in the summer. We heard about one today, what is it, the Daughters of the American Revolution are having an event there. And so we envision this to have another event space on the 3rd floor, a lot of the programming being done on the 1st floor, and then the current Art Center being where the Stephen Ralph Paul National Museum would be. And so I know, Tom, to your point, I live this every day as the CFO of the center. We have more projects than we have money, usually 5 to 1, but we not only invest in infrastructure that needs to be replaced, we invest in new things that for us will drive enrollment. This will bring people from around the state, around the country to Boyle County. It's going to help the restaurants, it's going to help the hotels, it's going to help other businesses. It's going to be a magnificent part of what's going to happen here in Boyle County. Others?
I would just, Brian, if I could, and this is for maybe both of you all, one of the things that's been kind of intriguing to me about this project is intriguing to me on multiple levels. As you said, of course, the magnitude of the total project. But as we all know, we desperately need a different and bigger meeting space. And so with the, I guess, are we calling it the ballroom? Is that what it is?
Right now it's called the ballroom, yeah.
The ballroom. I guess I'm wondering if there is a way that through a partnership that we can partner to house the fiscal court meetings there effectively 2 mornings a month, which would block that space out. And you know, much like at Center, how we always have rooms are named after whoever or whatever, that, you know, the citizens of Boyle County, that would be kind of, that would be their contribution to the project. And so that's one way I would like to approach that, because one way or another we're going to have to invest in a better fiscal court space that the public can truly have access to our meetings and be here. And so I see that as a way that we can possibly make this happen.
Yeah, as I sat in the hallway, or stood in the hallway, then sat in the hallway, then stood in the entrance and sat, I always think the same thing, you need a bigger boat.
We do, and we have AOC that should be coming online to help us rebuild our courthouse here, which will allow us to possibly expand out back, which will give us the opportunity to expand here. So I don't see that as a viable reason that we would give the city of Danville money to
It's not the
improve
city of
their
Danville, I
building.
just want to remind you that it's not the city of Danville, it's the Art Center of the Bluegrass.
So they own the building. The city of Danville owns the building, and you'll be leasing it from them, correct?
But there's
So it's
things
their
that
property.
There's things within the project that aren't the building. There's
Right.
the art collection itself. There's the support over the next 3 years as we add people to build this out, right? So we got, I would call it startup costs. We got purchase of the glass that has to happen over the next 5 years. And then there's the building.
Oh,
I saw it.
Packet that.
I saw it.
Well, I just think that, I think it's an area that we can explore, because then even if we were to have the opportunity to at a later date vacate that and have a new courthouse or new addition to the courthouse, which I think that is probably pretty far down the road, realistically, because, you know, much like jail construction, I'm sure they've kicked the AOC projects down the road pretty far. So I just see this as being kind of a win-win. It would be a way for us to partner with the Art Center and this incredible project, and also gain a better space for the citizens of our county.
My concern is that we have ARPA funds that, for the original purpose, was for infrastructure. We've got so many infrastructure. This is a wonderful project, but it's one that I feel like we have to take care of our infrastructure first. And since it is a nonprofit, you know, we'd have to open it up to all nonprofits to give everybody a chance to be on board with spending taxpayer money on nonprofits. So both those issues concern me. But I think it's a great opportunity, but I just think, you know, it has to be something that we have to take care of our basic needs that we've heard a lot of today. We need to get those taken care of first. You know, if we have tons of extra money, that'd be awesome. Then, you know, we'd open it up to all the nonprofits, and we could, you know.
We heard after the last meeting, when every department head came in to talk about their things they need from the county for their new budget, and just quick math on that, we're looking at $1.65 million is what we'll have to spend to make sure the sheriff's department's good, EMS, jail, public works, environmental services, all of those things have huge expenses coming up this fiscal year that will eat up every dollar of whatever ARPA funds we have. So if we were to give money for this project, in essence, we'd end up double taxing the citizens of Boyle County, because we would have taken the opportunity to utilize money already, and now we have to cut other things in order to buy the things that we'll need to buy. And I just don't see that. I mean, I understand the desire for the project. I don't see it in the same light that you see it. And I still question why this wasn't an idea that was done on Center's campus, but you know, I don't know. I mean, that would have eliminated a building purchase. That building's that needs a lot of work. I mean,
we do not have an available building. We're short on space, and I think it being downtown next to the Art Center is a huge win.
And has Center given an idea on how much they're going to put into this project?
Center will be announcing something either Friday or Monday.
I've had more calls on this issue, except for roads. This is the one that, and it's like 95. We need to do something with our roads. You know, we don't want it to go to the nonprofit. You know, I've had 2 ladies that told me they would love for it to go to this project. So,
I mean, as I said, I totally get that. I'm up against that. Same time every budget season, and I have to look people in the face and say, not this year, right? Yeah. It's a good project, mostly good.
And you guys have a much larger endowment fund than we even come close to. So if you guys are having to say no to something like this,
sometimes you can't.
No, I'm not saying Center saying no to
No, not saying no, but I mean, if you have to say no to stuff, or you have to,
our endowment is not to fix things. Endowment is to support students.
I'd like to
We
echo.
still need to hear from Magistrate Ellis and Magistrate
I'd like to echo Magistrate Bodner's comments. We have 5 communities that are in dire need, and we could make a laundry list that would fill up a legal pad. I have another concern. We desperately want to cooperate and collaborate and work hand in glove with the city of Danville. It was disconcerting 2 weeks ago on a Friday at deadline for notification and for our iPads to be filled with agenda items to learn of a project with all the concepts of collaboration we've been talking about really for the last 4 years, those of us who've been here, to learn of a project that had to be discussed for weeks. I'd likely offer up that it's probably been discussed for months.
No, 2 weeks.
Well,
literally.
And then 2 weeks prior, then we should have been at the table. Because what we would be doing if this was a 3-dimensional box, if this is the building and the city owns it and this tabletop is blank, we have no equity in that building, and yet we're talking about $500,000 that could easily evaporate in the 5 communities that I'm aware of that have needs. So those are 2 of my real serious concerns, plus the fact that once again we have 3 new magistrates and a new county judge who's very familiar with finances, but still very familiar with limitations on finances. We're about to enter the budget process, as Magistrate Cullen said, that those finite dollars don't cover the $1.6 million that we've already heard about from our division directors. And I'm still looking at it, but I have grave concerns that the flood that just happened in Portland, tens of thousands of dollars for hundreds of feet of pipeline that was literally washed away as it went downstream in the Portland area. And I'm sure that you had some flood damage as well. That's going to likely eat up some ARPA funds. So,
I mean, you know, I mentioned this, I'll leave it at this. Right? I do appreciate all the challenge that you have. As I said, that's part of my job, a big part of my job. This is revenue generating. I mean, that's why Center's interested in it. It's going to have an impact to the community. Right? It's going to help fill the hotels when there's events in towns. When there's events in town, that'll help us with those things as well. Some great things, you know, there's a great things that we want to do with the facility. It has such an impact on the use from the entire region. And when I started on the board, I was the treasurer and then quickly became the president of the board. And you think about the Arts Center, the Community Arts Center, really focused on Boyle County, which was right at the time. We went through a strategic planning process. We rebranded. Nikki became the permanent, executive director, and it's come so far. This is this giant leap for the community and certainly the Arts Center. So I understand you have to make these decisions, but I appreciate, the consideration.
I'll make this brief because I know Steve wants to talk, but you completely understand what we have going on now with our new Economic Development Corporation and the investments we're going to have to make in that as well. Yeah. So this is not just a slide at the Arts Center. This is the fact that we've got a lot of expenses, and over the last several years, we've only contributed about $100,000 to the Economic Development Partnership at that point. But we have real promise going on right now, and we're going to have to put some real skin in the game. And I see that economic development is where we need to make the investment, and then any fruit from that, then maybe we can do stuff down the line. But this is just not in the best interest of the county, in my opinion. So, at this moment, for our tax dollars,
I would say it's one of the best economic development investments. Investing in sewers, you have to do those things. There's no payback. There's a payback in this one. Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm Larry Weathers. I'm on the board with the Arts Center, Public Relations. We were called by Box 56. We didn't reach out to them. They reached out to us, and I spent this morning being interviewed by them with their excitement about this project. I'm new moving back, having been away for years and loving what I'm seeing happening in Danville. But I heard about the master plan that the city of Danville had projected, and part of that master plan years ago, when none of this was even a thought, was to have this become an art and cultural center. What I'm here to say is this is going to redefine Danville and what Danville will be known for. The arts globally are becoming highlighted in every community, and communities that don't move toward arts being centralized are going to be seen as archaic. We've been known to be historically bold, but I think now is an opportunity for us to be futuristically bold, and I think this is an opportunity for us, almost having something dropped in our lap. No one else in the world has Stephen Powell glass like we will have, and it will redefine our community. And I would love to know that the county, as well as the city, was on the side of saying, we may not see how exactly it's going to benefit us now, but we are visionary enough to know that we want to be a part of that. And that's what I'd like to say. Thank you for your time.
I'd like to make another comment.
Can we let Magistrate Sleeper speak?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's been waiting.
Well, I just want to say, in conversations I've had with the constituents of my district, several issues are raised, several concerns. They range from, the appraisal on the building, the condition of the building, and the cost that's going to be involved in that. The consideration of the original intent for ARPA funds, this not being along in that line. Also, the revenue generating ability of this project may not come close to offsetting the taxpayer burden that may occur on an ongoing basis because of this. We're not questioning the worthiness of this project, its nobility, but it's just at this time with I would echo Magistrate Bodner and Alice and Cullen on this matter as far as the funding and such. So it's just the taxpayers that I represent do not feel this is the best use of those dollars for their benefit.
We'd be more than willing to come to each of your districts to talk about all those concerns and why we think this is a good investment, if that would help you think about it.
Arts and history in this community go hand in glove. I'm one of the assignees to Constitution Square. If we could wave a magic wand and get $1 million, it might put the moss-covered roofs back in order. But heaven forbid what we find underneath that moss in terms of the structural integrity of the underlayment of those roofs. So it could far exceed $1 million. Constitution Square, very few people in this community understand who Judge McDowell was, Samuel McDowell. Everybody knows about Ephraim McDowell and the world-changing surgery that saved hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of women statewide. Again, commingling arts and the art of medicine, which I was in 26 years as an administrator. But Constitution Square, according to Tom Clark, our historian laureate, for whom the museum is named, said that had it not been for the wisdom and the commitment of Judge Samuel McDowell, we might never have had our westward movement, because we got our Constitution taken to Congress by a fellow named George Washington. And I hadn't even thought about it until we started talking about other projects. But we are desperate to do something with those buildings on Constitution Square, and that could easily eat up anything we have left in our funds.
Do you need a motion to kind of, I'm happy to make a motion.
Unless you're going to take action, I don't think we need a motion. Bring it back.
The only action I would say is that we pass on this and not contribute to the Art Center at this time.
I would just like to ask that we pause on that still a little bit more. I think we're still going in the budget process. I think I would like to see what we do have, what our encumbrances are for our ARPA funds and what's on the table still for our ARPA funds. I think it's important that we look at that list and then we can prioritize that list. I still would like to ask for consideration of, and I think we need to think about this, of the county's contribution being less than what the ask is. That's the ask. What we can contribute and come up with, I think, is going to be somewhere significantly less than the ask. Because I still think if we can contribute something towards the ballroom restoration work, with the caveat that we do have that available as our regular meeting space, I think that's a worthy way to bridge this gap. I'm not even talking about the possibility of the $400,000, but some number less than that, and still be a partner in the project, in this worthwhile project. I just think that that's worth consideration. And so I would just ask that we continue to talk about this issue, to research this issue, because again, it comes back to, as Brian has said many times, I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Yes, we've got lots of projects to do, lots of asks, but there's operational things that we have to make hard decisions on that go into our budget, and then there are these other things that benefit the community and the greater good in a lot of other ways. And so I just think those are things that these are tough decisions that we're tasked to make, but I think that we can meet the challenge.
So
Yes, and we're a taxing district, so we've always been good stewards of taxpayers' money, or we have tried to be good stewards of taxpayers' money. I agree that we need to just continue this conversation amongst ourselves and let us get into our budget season fully. Right now we're just on the outskirts of talking about budget issues and budget items and things that we're going to include. So let us continue on with that. And like Jamie said, just keep it under consideration. I don't think we need to take any action today, yes or no. I think we can just continue to just see how our finances are going to go and what we can do. I would love for the county to be a partner of some amount, just like whoever was saying, the representative amount here, the asking amount doesn't mean that's what we have the money to donate. But if we could find some monetary value to be able to support the project, the Arts Center, and we'll just see what happens as we get into our budget.
Judge, just a question, because I started a formal motion before Jamie kind of jumped in. So my motion was essentially going to be that we take no action at this point on contributing, and that we go into the budget cycle, and through appropriations, if there's anything that could be done, we possibly do that. But at this point, I think to kind of make things solidified on where we stand at this moment, we don't have the money to spend on it. We need to look at other things. So my motion is that we don't contribute, and then we look at it during the budget cycle, which we're almost at.
Okay. So that's pretty much, I think, what we summed up. So, motion from Magistrate Cullen, second.
I think we're where we need to be.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Magistrate Ellis. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Appreciate you all being here. Okay, before we go into our magistrate reports, I would like to share this invitation to have lunch at the Shepherd's House this coming Friday at 12 o'clock. So some of you all may have gotten this in an email. I'm not sure if you didn't. We can make copies and pass it around, but I want you all to know that.
Is Magistrate Cullen cooking again?
Are you cooking, Jason?
Here, it's Dunn's barbecue.
No, it's done. It's even better. It's done.
It's not done until it's done.
Barbecue unless it's done.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I'm putting some work into my big green eggs.
Magistrate reports. Magistrate Ellis, we will start with you.
Thank you, Judge. First of all, I have the formal report of our Public Works meeting from February 13th, 8:30 till 9:40 a.m. In attendance were the judge, Barry Harmon, myself, Roger Johnson. First of all, we had the arrival of the newly purchased Mack truck, and thank the Corp for that. We need future consideration of a loader. It's a $200,000 budget item. I almost wish I'd mentioned that a couple minutes ago. There is a need, but I have reservations about that with that large expenditure. Third item, 8 Boyle County roads had trees down during the heavy winds that we had prior to February 13. We had to rent a high lift locally to make it safe for our workers who were clearing those sites. The long arm mower is in need of, and we have moved forward on this, the mulching head to afford on-site dispatch of large amounts of trees and debris. The cost of that was $35,000, and it, am I correct, Darlene, we have moved ahead on that.
Yeah, I believe we have.
Yeah. Number 5, current trucks are hauling far beyond their intended weight limits, offering a motion at February 14 fiscal court meeting for the 3/4 ton truck. The bids have been advertised on that truck. And do I have to put the amount so that it can be heard publicly? We will stay within budget. I think that's safer when we have local bidders. And finally, we're talking again about the hot box for the new budget year. Let's see, budget adjustments of the greenery that we talked about today. And thank you for that opportunity. And the overall discussion of Crawford House. And we are still shackled with one more piece of very difficult to finance and fund, the Constitution Square sidewalk, which we had estimates about 2 years ago costing $30,000, even though it is not historically what was there in the past. So we need to arm wrestle with the Heritage Council on that situation. I submit this for a motion to approve my Public Works Committee meeting summary.
Okay. Motion made by Magistrate Ellis to approve his report, seconded by Magistrate Bogner. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Do you have additional?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. Forgive me, but I have a pretty comprehensive list this time. I'll start out by saying I'm going to pass out 3 documents, and I've already corresponded with 3 of our magistrates. And I want the public to understand this well, so I hope the media picks up on it. You may have read my letter 2 weeks ago on Friday about the difficulties we have with the quorum rule. A way that I know legally, Counselor, that we can at least engage is on 3 items that I'm going to pass out, which are pretty comprehensive explanation of the issues that I'll mention. I will pass those out today for the record and for our colleagues on the court. But the moment that the judge gavels us down, I can talk to, on one of them, for example, I can talk to Magistrate Cullen, and I can talk again to our judge, but I can't talk to the rest of our magistrates. So please, any of you in the future, if you have pressing issues in your area, if you'll do the research and prepare a document that we can put as our public record, then from that point on, Magistrate Sleeper, if you bring it to me that way, I will do further research on whatever document you give us. So I will be passing out today the solar document from Mercer County. You already have the House Bill 4 document on the screen. We have and you know about this from previous meetings, an extension office task force that, Judge, would I be fair to say we've essentially, for now at least, completed our work. We had a significant meeting here last week, and we have now prepared and distributed to the University of Kentucky and others involved from that side of the table some pretty serious concerns about the extension office and how the buildings are being utilized, staff reception to folks coming in. Interestingly, I made a note of it in this training that Jeff Jewell mentioned this morning. I would hope, especially since that meeting is going to be held at the Extension office, I hope that the staff can be part of that orientation to the community on greeting people and putting our best foot forward on hospitality. And then I mentioned earlier that I have a document on House Bill 507 that I'll be leaving here for you. In addition to that, yesterday in our KMCA meeting, they mentioned, and Magistrate Cullen, you really need to know about this, and we'll get the, I don't have the bill number yet, but there is a piece of legislation for a barrel tax on bourbon. So we need to look very closely into that. Had a good Spectrum meeting.
It's House Bill 5.
Pardon me?
House Bill 5.
House Bill 5, thank you. Had a good meeting with the judge, with Magistrate Cullen, with Katina and Julie in the room with Spectrum a few days ago. And we're hopeful that we can get more communications out to folks, because the judge, as soon as your post went up, the last count this morning was 46 people already inquiring, when's it coming to my place and my road. So hopefully we're going to get an ongoing level of communication that they committed to get to the judge, so that we can disseminate that to the public. I would just mention one more time the concern about litter, because we do not have the staff at the jail when you call as a magistrate to get help, and that's part of that budget consideration. Thank you, Magistrate Gay, in helping us with that. And finally, the second Saturday in March, Counselor, we'll be looking for your entry in the pie supper out of Portland again.
My wife was talking about that last night.
And your investment. That's it, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Magistrate Mills. Magistrate Bodner?
Yes, Junction City has another pancake breakfast on Saturday. So it's a real good cause to get out to support, have a good breakfast. Also, I've been talking to some community people about our little Junction City park. We need some updates. We need a new structure there, a little shelter and some things. So I'm kind of working with some people to see if there's some grants out there or things to do. And I've talked to the state about some flooding roads in my district, and I need to see Roger too about that. That's it.
If anybody has any property damage, be sure and get that information to our EMA director, Brian Boyle. Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Magistrate Cullen?
I'll double down on that pancake breakfast. I'm hoping to be back in town for it, specifically to kind of lend some support to the Junction City Fire Department and our firefighters in general. We lost a very wonderful young man this past week that was part of the Junction Fire Department, and he's also Department of Corrections. And so hoping just to kind of at least go there to be with the firefighters of Junction City and enjoy some time together and kind of hopefully shed some memories on Jim. So other than that, I don't really have anything else besides an update on that's on our packet regarding the Buster Pike Bridge. That's going to be, looks like in March they're going to be taking it down. So the only thing I would ask is that we renew talks with Bill to see about any sort of equipment we can have out at the train tracks, or we started talking about this before, about having something on the county webpage where people can actually just go onto it and see which trains are blocking which tracks for those people that live out there. Bill had been working on setting up some sort of cell camera out there, and so it will help. I've had several inquiries about people out there that want a camera out there so they can log in to see, like, okay, I'm on my way home, should I have to take the long way, or I'm getting ready to leave, can I go this way or that way? So it would just be helpful. The person that's been stuck between two trains before without an access road to get out on, it's very annoying. So.
And you're right that the road will be closed beginning March the 8th, South Buster Pike at the railroad. And that is anticipated to be closed for up to a year. So we've We have sent letters to all of the people that live on that road, all the residents on that road, so they're getting a formal letter from the fiscal court letting them know that that road is going to be closed and they're going to have to use alternate routes. So they've all been,
And then
they are being advised.
Yeah.
It's in the mail.
And thank you for getting getting Ben here yesterday to help us with our broadband access through Charter and Spectrum, and reminder that this can be up to 24 months from when we started back at the I guess October of last year. So
I believe if people could just see there is progress being made. Right now they feel like there's nothing. And people call me, when?
Well, we're 6 months into the project, and so at the beginning, it said it would be anywhere from 6 months to 24 months. So we're just now really getting into running the cable, doing the hookups, and so there's a few customers that are already connected, but the majority of them will be between now and 24 months.
Yeah.
So it's 200 houses.
Yeah, I mean that's
it's a slow process.
But we've got 30,000 people in this community.
Yeah.
But we don't have 30,000 households in this community.
Right.
So when people start hearing these numbers like only 100 to 200 houses connected, that's a lot of houses.
That's a lot of houses.
I think we're really only talking, 2,000 to 4,000 houses.
12,000 homes.
12,000 homes.
Learned
And so
yesterday.
yeah. So anyway, so it's it is happening, not as quick as everyone wants it because it's exciting.
And there are 2 phases. So right now we're still in phase 1. And then after phase 1 is completed, then they'll start phase 2. So it's just, it's coming. I know it's not coming fast enough, but it will be here, eventually.
When you hear about the process that they have to go through,
it's
they're going through poles that they don't own, so they have to get approval to go through every pole.
Every single
and
pole.
This person says they got it to my next door neighbor,
Right.
and not to me.
That's all too.
Yeah. And it may be that one of those people were in phase 1, but the neighbor's going to be in phase 2, and it doesn't make any sense. I agree. But it will eventually loop back around and pick up those people.
Especially considering 2 of the people sitting at the table don't have internet access.
Thank you.
And
Pots of money too, so that's what.
Yes, it's 2 different fundings
Pots
as
of
well.
money,
Yeah.
so
They have to be spent at certain times.
And with respect to what Magistrate Boulder just said, if you are a neighbor, you might be in that green rather than the blue area. Go ahead and get that information, and we all need to have Ben Usella's phone number so that you can text him. And there can be considerations that your constituents in the green, not for another year plus, and the one across the road is in the blue, and that's why they got it, and they will make any accommodation they appropriately, and I emphasize appropriately, can do. So encourage those folks, get their information, share it with Ben, and he will appeal that for us.
There's also a website that people can utilize. It's spectrumruralexpansion.com. All of phase 1 is on there. All of phase 2 is probably not on there at this time. But people can go to that website, they can put in their address, and it will bring up a map and it will show them where they are in which phase.
It's spectrumrural.com.
Spectrumruralexpansion.com.
Now, if that's the same website that I was on about 2 weeks ago, please test that, because one of the considerations we gave to Mr. Usella's when we met was your constituent, 75 years old, you're looking at one, goes on to that, and the first thing they ask for is the code for your designation that you're qualified. And my response was, beg your pardon? I had no clue. I was passed through other people, ended up on the phone for 55 minutes. Even in their marketing, they weren't able to answer the questions. So we are hoping that he's taking that message back, because I would encourage all of you to test that and see in the next few days if you can navigate your way through that process, because Ben admitted that they are getting complaints from all over, not just the one that I had for being on 55 minutes, and I'm still not sure. I was doing it as an experiment, and I'm still not sure that.
So you were holding up the lines is what it was, Tom.
It held up my line for sure.
And just so everyone knows, in phase 1, there is 1,445 homes. In phase 2, the early design of phase 2, there was 1,158 homes. So, you know, that's a lot, but they're going to make progress. So.
All right, perfect.
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Appreciate that.
And I might need to jump out of here. I got a 4-hour drive ahead of me. So.
Oh, okay. All right. We're almost finished. If you want to wait, you can, but if you need to go, I understand.
Thank you.
Magistrate Gay.
I just want to send prayers and best wishes to Magistrate Harmon and his continued, hopefully it sounds like he's on the mend and his recovery so he can rejoin us. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you, Magistrate Gay. Magistrate Sleeper?
Of course, it's getting pothole season, and been taking calls and trying to calls regarding potholes, stray dogs, trash pickup, and EMS billing and things like that. So I really just want to extend my appreciation to all the assistance I have received from experienced magistrates and department directors like Roger and other, and actually and city officials when it falls under their purview. They've helped me and assisted me in some of these issues. So I'm thankful for their assistance. I did attend the Humane Society of the United States Animal Welfare Summit. It was twofold for me. It was to support and help honor our local Humane Society and their community Capt program, which was recognized. It was live streamed nationally, so there was a lot of exposure there. And it was really something to be proud of, being a part of that group and recognize them in it. And it was interesting. I was somewhat of a novelty there. I was the only county elected official at this summit.
Excellent.
And so Boyle County, you know, we got some good press there too. So, but it was an amazing program. Sometimes we have preconceived notions about animal welfare, but we had legislators who had submitted legislation, and we had activists. We also had animal control officers and code enforcement officers, law enforcement officers who shared with us some things we need to know in terms of animal ordinances and such. And it was just a really good time. I really appreciated being able to be a part of that. So, and I just wanted to represent Boyle County Fiscal Court there. So.
And we thank you for doing that. Sounds like it was a really good thing for you to be there.
Also met with Ben Garant yesterday at a gathering place. He invited me to come, and he wanted to show me what they do there, and I was impressed with the good work that he and his team and facility are doing with the senior citizens of our community. And I got to meet Bo, the guard dog.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
You say yard dog or guard dog?
Guard dog, yeah. I said that tongue in cheek because he sat at the door, but he let me in right away. And he was very affectionate. And when Ben and I were discussing things, he put his head on my feet. So he made a friend real quick. But anyway, I just was impressed with the work they're doing and look forward to the fiscal court continuing to support that endeavor. And also, as well as some of us, others went to the Bluegrass Ad Council, or Ad District, excuse me, budget workshop, so we learned some things there. And another issue that's been brought to my attention is back when we had this flooding in Streamland. For those of you who are aware, if you live in Streamland or anywhere near Streamland, you know that the headaches they have, the real issues they have with the flooding situation. So I actually have been in communication with all of our city commissioners who lives in that area, so we're looking at possibilities to help professionally fix that, you know, because it's beyond our knowledge what to do about this situation.
The last professional tried to fix it, made it worse.
Well, yeah, they've tried fixes in the past and nothing's really, you know, but it is a real problem, especially when we have days like we had there a couple weeks ago. But anyway, so
call it Streamland for nothing, right?
Pardon?
They don't call it Streamland for nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Could I mention one thing? We have a food bank in Junction City. It's been operated for 23 years, never asked for help, and I'm asking our community to get behind it. They're needing assistance with their utilities, and they're going to try to keep the building, but they've been operating. They serve 1,400 people out of Boyle County a month, and they also give food, like I've said before, to the backpack program that takes kids from school, take food home every weekend. So it's a really great, if you have a church or any organization that wants to support it, it really needs the support really, really severely right now.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, so one more opportunity to eat is Saturday at the Masonic Lodge down on North 4th. They have the fish fry, shrimp, fish and shrimp dinner. It's an excellent meal.
That time of year?
Yeah, and I think they're there from 11 to 5. Normally it's the first Saturday of every month, so support them if you can. Yes, it is. I skipped number 14. County Clerk McCoy was supposed to be here today. His father-in-law passed away yesterday, so that's why he was not able to make it to our meeting today. So I would like for us to adjourn in memory of George O. Sonny Spoonermore, father-in-law of Casey McCoy, and also adjourn in memory of Jim Harris, the Junction City Fire Department firefighter that Jason mentioned. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Magistrate Bodner, second by Magistrate Cullen. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? We're adjourned.